Creepers and Geekers, Chris, the Atari Creep. How's everyone doing today? Don't ask why I do this crap. I'm excited to talk to you. And this episode, I'm actually pretty excited. It's going to be a little bit different than my normal toys that I wish I still had episode. I do have a playlist if you haven't seen them. I'll put that link somewhere down below. Or you can just go look for it. There's a playlist button somewhere around here. It'll be in there. So don't be lazy. Go look for it. But today we're going to talk about stompers and vehicles of the like, mainly for a couple of reasons. One, because I friggin' love them. But over the weekend, I came across a couple of the carrying cases for Stomper style vehicles. I mean, this one is actually branded Stompers, and we'll look at these here a little bit. And I got this one, which is just a generic one, and we'll get to why these were made. I mean, obviously the whole Stompers, but there are other brands that were very similar to Stompers, though I never had any of those as a kid. I was originally going to do this one, but I got these over the weekend and said, you know what, let's make that the actual next episode versus what I was planning on doing this week. And then we'll worry about the next one maybe next week or the week after. And also I have a pseudo example of what we're going to be talking about. And that's very rare because this is typically... This is a toy I had as a kid. Here are a few memories, maybe some video clips and some pictures, and then we move on from there. But I actually do have a pseudo example. You'll get to what I'm talking about here. But let's look at a commercial. I believe it's the very first commercial. I had all four of these ones. Let's just have a look at it, and then we'll talk further.
Stomper 4x4's, working lights, detailed design, and four-wheel drive. Battery for each not included. There are four models: the Chevy Blazer, the Dodge Warlock, the Jeep Honcho, or the Ford Bronco. With battery-powered four-wheel drive, you can tackle almost any hill, almost any surface, because four-wheel drive provides power. Stomper 4x4's with headlights, each sold separately or available in sets. From Shopper.
How cool are those? No, Stompers were amazing. Stompers were one of those toys. Because I didn't know they existed until I got my hands on them. So they must have been fairly new. I had the original four. And then my parents, after seeing how much I would play with them, expanded on that collection. And I do have some real fun memories playing with them in the yard. I never had any of the play sets, nor did I know anybody else that had Stompers or any of the play sets. I was the only one of my friends that I know of that had Stomper vehicles. I had those first four. I had a van. And I think I think total I had about 8 or so. I can't remember exactly which ones. I do remember a whole lot of pickup trucks. And I'm pretty sure I had a van as well. But I do know I had those first four when they came out. And the Bronco one in particular. And to this day I still love Ford Broncos. All of them. And knowing that Ford might be bringing that model back is pretty exciting. But regardless, we're not here to talk about motor news. We're here to talk about Stompers. Now, of course, with any popular toy, copycats come out. And you know what? Luckily for us, with Stompers, good versions came out. Now, Stompers are made by a company called Shopper. S-C-H-A-P-E-R, something like that. I'll put it down here if I just spelled that incorrectly. LGN made their own version called Rough Riders, which were pretty much the same exact thing. They were a little more cartoony, if you will. They were a little more, I don't know what to say. They were bubblier, I guess you would call it. Whereas Stompers went for the pseudo-realism, these guys went a little bit more, I don't know, cartoony, I guess, is the only way to describe it. Now, this example I have here is a Rough Rider. And this came to me compliments of Willie from Arcade USA. I'm pretty sure it was an Atari.io junk box. I want to say that's where this came from Willie. And it was a random thing he threw in there. And when I got these cases, he was the first person I talked, oh, we got to talk about these stickers. We'll look at this here in a minute. Stompers. The only real true memory I think that would be interesting to talk about is, now mind you, this is the early 80s. I'm in elementary school, and I went to bring him to school, and I had a big brown paper bag, you know, your grocery bags. just filled with them. And I don't know why I put them all in there, maybe because it was just easier than whatever. And I remember walking to school, and it was about 3 or 4 blocks east of where I lived. It was on the same street, and that's back when you could send your elementary kid out the door to just go to school. Or maybe our parents wanted us to get abducted. I don't know. Maybe our parents were just sick of us. They're like, you know what? We're going to let them go out there. Whatever happens, happens. Oh, well. But no, all seriousness, it was a different time. And I got about halfway there, and I ended up in front of my friend Steve Galvin's house. He's now a cop here in town. Really nice kid. I sat down. He had one of those walls that were about butt level, and I was tired from walking, so I sat down, and I put the bag down. And then I proceeded home. Now, this is on my way back from school, I should say. Forgot the bag. Forgot the bag. And it just sat there, I guess. And I forgot I even forgot it. And then I'm walking to school the next day, and there's the bag. And light never shined on Marblehead, and I went to school. And then I came back home, and then I saw the bag, and then finally it hit me. Wait a minute. Those are my Stompers! No one picked it up and walked away with it. And when I got home and I dried them all off, they all started to work. And that's the one thing about Stompers that was really interesting, even at my age. You learned how to play around with mechanics real quickly. You learned how to tinker around with things and get things going when they wouldn't go. So let's have a closer look at this Rough Rider. We'll look at the case real quick, and then let's go outside and play with this thing. So here's the generic case. And a lot of companies would make these generic cases for, say, your Rough Riders, because they were different. And we'll see that here in a second. They would even say it right here, you know, perfect case for your Stompers, Rough Riders, and other 4x4 vehicles. Put your trucks in, close it up, and bring it to your friend's house. I love these stickers. These stickers are pure gold. I like these stickers more than I like this case. Come on. Tell me that's not massively awesome. Stompers had their own cases that you could buy, and they were shaped like the Stomper tires, but they came with all these stickers to label what vehicles you have on here. But whoever had this as a kid decided to put every sticker on here, so I don't know. But inside it had all the straps. Only one strap has a little bit of a broken piece. And it has a little bit of tire rub inside. What will happen typically with a lot of these cases, if you look there, is like a little nub. Is if you put them in, the vehicles in here, and they turn on, or they're on, they'll just keep rubbing against the plastic and it'll melt it. So here's my only example, and this one again is a Rough Rider by LJN, but it's the same idea. This one has goofy wheels, big fat wheels, so that it can ride like that if it hits the right bump or whatever. But these typically all would have two parts. You have the body, you have the chassis, there's a light bulb in here which will illuminate all this for the headlights. There's a motor assembly in here with two long gears that attach to gears to turn this. I was able to get this one going, but one of the gears was still pretty loose last time I played with it. So I don't know how much success we're going to have playing with this today, but we're going to give it a go anyway because these are so fun. You always want to put it on headlight first because it has to go up and underneath the hood. And let's flip it on. See if we have any luck. Okay, yeah. See, the gears are fighting. There we go. We can get some play out of it. Enough to show you how much fun these things can be. But so sadly, I couldn't get this thing to run outside on the dirt. So I took it apart. There's one screw to remove the headlight assembly thing here, and then there's just a little clip on the back here that you pop it right off. And of course, I removed the motor, and this right here I think is what the culprit is. If you look at this right here, and it's all gunked up, this gear here touches the gear on the motor itself, and these spiral threads touch the gear here on the shaft, the drive shaft, or the axle rather. And I think what's happening is these two are not matching up, this here and these here. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit with some soapy water and a soft bristle toothbrush. See all that black gunk? I might do it to the other one. Just see how much cleaner that is where it touches the gear. Much cleaner. And we are all cleaned up. Now I have noticed that this long shaft gear here does not want to seat perfectly straight. So that's telling me that the gear attached to the axle may not be very good. This one's very loosey-goosey. Well, this one's nice and tight. See, I'm touching it, it won't move. This one I'm touching, and it moves quite a bit. So we might be out of luck, but either way, I just figured that'd be interesting to show you anyhow. Wish me luck, guys. So we ran into a snag. I got the gears to lock up nicely on the motor and all that stuff, but when I put the housing back over the motor, this little wire here, I think it's a ground, popped off of the motor. So I'm gonna have to pull this thing back apart and resolder this. I might actually put a better wire on it. It's real thin, cheap stuff. But so we're not gonna get to play with this thing, and that's pretty common. I mean, it's a tiny little thing and it's barely held on. So that's one thing you need to look out for if you start playing around with these things. They are fidgety, and they do take a lot of patience. But until then, go ahead and enjoy this quick little Instagram video of me enjoying this very toy. So guys, that's my not so quick look at Stompers and other small 4x4 style vehicles. I apologize that I was unable to play with one today. But if you think about it, technically I'm not supposed to have it here because this game's toys I wish I still had. But it still rings true. I wish I had some Stompers. Now, there are Stompers out there. The problem is that that collector scene is very active and it's wicked expensive to collect for. Wicked expensive. So, and as you saw earlier, they're very delicate to begin with. Mine is in amazing shape, my Rough Rider, and I still popped that little wire off, and it's very common to do so. But guys, I hope you still enjoyed this video. Thank you always so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Guys, go ahead and leave feedback. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All feedback to the Creep is positive. Share your Stomper memories down below. Or make your own video. If you have any, I'd love to see your collection. Let me have a link to that video and or account where I can see your collection. Anyone has any cheap Stompers for me? I don't care if they're fixer-uppers. Get a hold of me. Don't forget, you can win an Atari 7800 controller. All you have to do is donate to the Alzheimer's Association. Link to all the information will be at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Click on that video. Read the description. Don't worry about reading it. And you'll be off on the running to win a really cool game controller, as well as other things that I have been giving away. Guys, there's no reason not to get involved. There's lots of incentive, and of course you'll be helping on a great cause. So guys, like I say all the time, multiple times, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I hope your week started off with a bang. Until next time, take care, creep it real, and bye-bye.